Welcome to Retired Life. Wish you were here. The podcast where we explore what comes after the 9 to 5. Whether you're newly retired, planning for the day, or well into your next chapter, this show is your invitation to a conversation about purpose, passion, and possibilities. I'm your host, Kim Lee, and I'm thrilled to be here with you. We're not slowing down, we're just getting started in a different gear, and we're bringing good company for the ride. Today, we are hanging out with someone who proves that creativity doesn't retire. Jolie Mullin is a creative producer working with her son's company, 5 by 8 Productions, where she helps bring documentaries to life. She calls herself a fringe producer, which we'll definitely ask her about. And she's also an aspiring screenwriter. We're really excited to talk with Jolie about what it's like to collaborate with family, stay creatively active, and keep chasing ideas no matter where life takes you. Jolie, welcome to Retired Life podcast. We're so glad to have you.
Oh, thanks, Kim. I'm excited to be here.
Can you tell me about your careers and your retirement?
Well, for heaven's sakes, I had a big family, 6 children, and so I really never had, pardon me, the time to have a real career, except when I was in my 50s. And all through my 50s, I was fortunate to be able to be a professional stage actress. And that really, of course, was such a wonderful thing for me personally. I had always kind of been in entertainment. I started basically when I was 4 years old doing a funny skit and singing and dancing for Frankie's Review in Vincennes, Indiana. But after that, I just really was in the high school drama club. And then, of course, getting married and having a family, I just really did community work, community theater.
When did you know you wanted to do something different with your life than a 9 to 5?
Well, I never really worked, as I said, with a big family. I just took jobs, odd jobs. I was a society reporter, and then I don't know, have done a lot of different things, HR directors and stuff. But all through it, of course, my love was really acting, and it's very hard to find the right kind of acting. I really am a comedic actress, and so I'm picky about what I wanted to do, and that's not a good way to start. You need to try everything. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. But my son became a producer and director and screenwriter. He went to Columbia and got all of his uh, stuff done that you have to do to earn a master's out of there, and then in film, and then went to LA and started. And so by 2016, and he had been out there for about 12 years, he got a big documentary to do for Budweiser, and he was going to have to be gone for about a year and a half traveling the world. So he called me. I was living in Florida at the time, and he said, "Mom, I really need you out here to hold down the fort, while he was going to be gone." So that was 2017, and he was just kind of really getting started for large projects and things. So my job at that point was to kind of sort of help bring projects to the company, and I was successful. I brought 3, one about Eugene Debs, and then another I had optioned a book from a friend, and we tried to get that going. But it was hard because of the story itself. It's kind of complicated. And then I came up with the idea to have a movie made that kind of sort of covered what I had been doing in life, type thing. So, it got really busy. And then, of course, COVID hit. So when COVID hit, my 4 sons said, "Mom, we don't want you in LA County, so we're sending you to Tallahassee." And I've been here ever since. So that's sort of
Well,
that.
you were helping your son,
Yeah.
and you're basically in LA.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with Yogi Berra's It Ain't Over Till It's Over?
Right. Well, that was really came to Sean. A man had seen it well, he had seen the documentary from Mr. Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and the documentary about that, and just fell in love with that documentary. And he said, "Hey, I've got an in to Yogi Berra. Would you like to do a documentary about that?" So Sean met with the Berra family, all three of his Yogi's sons, and it just clicked. So the next thing you know, he's in production. He started, I think it was 2018, getting some big interviews off the top, like Billy Crystal and Bob Costas and all of that, and then hit it. Of course, here we go with COVID. So he had to kind of shut down. And that really turned out to be quite a blessing, because that's when he was able to gather all of the MLB permission, really, to use all of their things and all of the archival stuff that he needed. So,
So what did he feel was the most important thing about telling the Yogi Berra story?
well, finding a reason for it.
Yeah.
In other words, Yogi was a perfect person. There was no scandal. There was nothing to be upset about. He didn't have any enemies. So Sean was trying to figure out, well,
Except for off and on George Steinbrenner.
well, the Steinbrenner issue. But so he decided that it was such a love story, really, between everyone, the fans, his family, that he decided to just take on the story of his personal life as well as the baseball, figures.
Was there a moment when you were filming the Yogi Berra story that really stuck with you? You met his family, you met all his friends and all the people who raved about him. What was the thing that stuck with you?
Well, of course, I wasn't filming all the time with Sean. He was doing that, with his big crew and everything. Like I said, I'm really what I call I think I made this up, but a fringe creative, because you have to have people around you to just talk with and throw ideas back and forth about what's going to be good or what's not going to work. And Sean's lucky to have a large, group of people who will tell him the truth about stuff, which is so cool. But I know that what struck me as it was being made was, once again, this. He made, in the first place, he made Lindsay Berra the narrator, which I think was a great decision on his part, because she obviously loved her grandfather so much and so passionate about his life and knew everything about it, that she was the perfect person to tell this story. And I think that was the biggest change and progress that he made. Mm-hmm.
What festival was it that you went to for the awards?
Tribeca.
Oh, okay.
Tribeca. And then we went to about 20 festivals. Nantucket. That was the Nantucket.
You won a lot of awards.
Yeah, it won a lot of awards. And we did go to the Critics' Choice Awards.
Oh, where did it make its debut?
We had our debut in Tribeca in a 1,000-seat theater that sold out within 3 hours, sort of, and then they had to schedule so many more showings. Of course, a story about a New York icon. Everybody in New York wanted to see it. So that's where we made our debut, and it was so exciting. It was just really exciting. And I held together pretty well until at the end of the Q&A, Bob Costas turned to Sean and said, this is a perfect sports documentary. And I lost it. I was so proud.
It was good. I saw it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So after working on a big successful project,
Mm-hmm.
do you have plans for anything similar?
Well, of course, Sean's always busy. Getting back to me just being a fringe, I'm not really in the day-to-day running of anything. I just am needed sometimes. Like in the first movie he did, Amira and Sam, I'm in it with a one-liner. It was 10:30 at night. All of a sudden they wanted the star to be insulted, and so I just dreamed up a line, and that was that. In other words, and then so the only thing I did per se in Yogi was they wanted to use my apartment for a couple of scenes, and so we all arranged everything and got the crew in my kitchen, and it was just a lot of fun. So I do things like that, but I really don't have anything to do with the day-to-day of it. This new movie that I'm writing with Sean, I don't know when it'll happen. I hope I'm still alive, but because I'm 76, and so it's the fourth quarter, you know. But at any rate, I'm just been fortunate to be along with him on this ride for the past 10 years, and it's just been wonderful.
Even though you're not a day in and day out producer, how does that work? I mean, what is going on with the production business actually?
Well, producing is an animal all unto itself. You can't teach it, but you can learn it. And you have to be a good leader. You have to be good with business, with math, with a special logistics, people. Try if the director says to you, "Listen, I need a boat in the New York harbor at 3 o'clock on Friday, and it has to have 4 people in it. I want 2 of them to be tall, 1 to be short, all in bathing suits." Then that's left up to the producer to make sure that that boat's in the harbor on Friday with all these, extra things that
Wow.
the director wants.
So that's the fringe producing, or is
No,
that the
no,
main
that's the
producing?
real producer.
Whoa, okay.
The real producer, the one who spends all the time in actually making it happen, will have PGA behind their name, the Producers Guild of America. That's how you'll know who really did the producing. And if they ever win an Oscar, he's the one that gets to go on stage because he or she, I shouldn't say just he, they will get the attention for all the work they did and pulling it off, So that's a producer. There's millions of producers. Well, not millions, but there's lots of producers. Anytime you see an executive producer, they're the money guys. They usually get in early. They back the director. Either they like the director, or maybe they love the story and they want it to be told. That happens a great deal, where somebody will come to Sean at 5x8s and say, this is the story we want told, and we want you to tell it for us. So that's how that happens a lot. But the other producers, there's so many. There's line producers. I mean, there's all kinds of producers. If you ever watch the whole screening at the end, it's like
I do, and I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are all these people?
I know. Well, Sean's newest movie, he is not the director or the writer. It's really, the new movie is Tracy Lehman's movie, but it's called Bob Trevino Likes It. Sean produced it. He will have the PGA and be on stage because he did all the producing of it. But
And this movie just premiered
yes,
recently.
yes, and it's worldwide. People are loving it. It's based on Tracy's life, mildly. I mean, obviously you have to make decisions for it to fit in theatrically and stuff. But yeah, it's out there and it's doing real well. We're happy about it. Yeah.
And what was it? Bob
Trevino likes
likes
it.
it.
Yeah.
And
It's
so your son's producer on that. And did you help at all
No.
on this movie?
No, I was in Tallahassee.
Yeah. You,
Singing with FSU chorus or doing something. Yeah.
all the different things in life. Do you think storytelling ever really leaves you?
No, I don't think so. I think if you are just have a life that's kind of full in whatever way, and it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be something small. But you have a story to tell, really. Everybody does. And whether you want to tell your story is a different story. In other words, maybe your children might tell it or someone else if it's interesting enough. But no, I don't think storytelling ever really goes out of.
So you probably will never fully retire. It'll be semi-retired.
Absolutely. I don't really believe in retirement because I think to stay young, and I think the solution to getting old is staying young. And by that, I mean, your thought processes and, of course, health issues affect you from time to time. But I really think staying young is important. So I don't know why I would stop thinking or doing stuff, It's
No,
just,
you wouldn't.
no, right?
So how do you define success and fulfillment at this stage of your life?
Well, I think most of us that are labeled very elderly, which just cracks me up, we've already lived our lives, of course, to the extent that we are in the last quarter of it. And so you have lots of time to look back and see what you've done or all of that. I have no regrets. I just was blessed with a wonderful family, and that makes me very happy and grounded. And so I think success is different to each of us. I just feel like if I have peace of mind, which I do, and friends and family that I love and love me, it's just that's happiness to me. That's success.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. So, looking back on some of your biggest challenges and rewards of your career, what would you?
Well, as I said, the only real career I had was as a professional stage actress. So it was so funny because it was written. I was so fortunate to get to work with Doug May, who had been Disney's head of live entertainment for all 4 of the Disney parks for years. And then he decided to retire to this little town that we were living in. And he thought he would be happy doing something else, but that, of course, didn't work. And it didn't take him long to open a theater and turn it professional and everything. So I got to work with him, and he came up with 13 original musicals for us. And it was wonderful because there was nobody owned the rights to anything. We could do whatever we wanted to. He always wanted us to pretend that the fourth wall was down and that we could just go out to the audience and have a good time. They had a hard time keeping me on script half the time because I love to improvise especially with the audience. We would sit on their laps and tell stories and all this. And so Doug said, well, Jolie's never seen a script that she liked, type thing, because I improvise so much, which was really the fun part. When a director gives you enough authority and room to do what you think might fit at that moment better than what is going on, in terms of the script. So that was just so much fun. I mean, it was just wonderful to be able to have that creative expression.
So, is there any chance of you going back to?
I would love for another Doug May to come along and say, hey, we need an old comedic actress. I'd sign up, I think, right away.
If you could sit down and talk to your younger self, what would you tell her?
Well, I didn't realize when I was young that you could do anything. I know people would tell me that, but I didn't really believe it. However, as I look back on life now, it's like, yeah, guess what? You can do anything you really want to do. I just picked jobs from time to time when I had time from my family because it was so big. It was always first, and doing anything else came second.
Did any of them get into acting?
No, they didn't. No, I have a interior designer. I had a HR person. Sean's everything in LA. Chris is, gosh, he's sort of a national person in higher education. And then Dino is just a wonderful PE teacher. So, yeah, no.
Who's your biggest influence and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't have one.
Okay, tell me. You got time. Tell me who.
Yeah, but, influencer. Well, I really love to sing. When I was at Coachlight, I made a CD in like a half hour. It was so funny. But I've always sung, too. It was a Sweet Adeline, which I'm very proud of. I did that for about 5 years. And there's nothing like barbershop singing. It's just wonderful. And then I did do the FSU choir for a year when I here in Tallahassee, which was totally different than anything I'd ever done before. But I like to sing what I call girl songs from the 60s, like Connie Francis and, a little Tammy Wynette country and things like that. So I really do love to sing. So I think all those girl singers in the 60s that I grew up with, the Supremes and all of that, that was really what I really wanted to do. But life took me a different direction.
And your favorite producer of all time?
My son, of course. That's not hard.
So if Yogi Berra were here today, what do you think he'd say about retired life?
Well, retired life, I don't know. He didn't particularly like his retirement as it went down,
It's a little
a
forced.
little forced. He did enjoy those commercials to a degree, I think. But no, in terms of liking the movie, even his sons, Larry and Dale and Tim, they really loved this movie. And that's what made us the happiest, that the family just freaking loves this movie. So I think Yogi would have loved it too.
And it ain't over till it's
That's
over.
right. That's right.
Well, I so appreciate you coming and talking to us. And we have a little gift for you.
Oh, how
This
nice.
is a retired life bag
I need it.
and your own retired life koozie.
Oh, I need that even more.
Thank you,
Oh,
Jolie, so much.
Yeah, you're welcome, Kim. It was a lot of fun.
And a little talk about our sponsor and merchandise, Retired Life Wish You Were Here. Now you can show off your passion for retired life with our exclusive merchandise. Our designs capture the spirit of travel, sports, leisure, and everything that makes the time rewarding. There are hats, shirts, mugs, and more, designed for retirees who are always on the move. Perfect for gifts or treating yourself. Quality, comfort, and a little fun in every place.